Hello and welcome to this episode of Standard Deviation, my column and video series. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how, while the overall perception of Donald Trump and Narendra Modi is that Trump is unpredictable and erratic, while PM Modi is a stable, dependable leader, this is absolutely the opposite when it comes to trade matters. In trade, it's Trump who is predictable and PM Modi who is the unpredictable, erratic one. And I'll show you how. But first, what this has meant is that while Indian trade experts are reasonably sure of what to expect from Trump 2.0, India's trade partners and importers don't enjoy the same certainty when it comes to Modi 3.0's trade policies. Trump won his first elections in 2016 and took over as US President in 2017 on the back of his Make America Great Again campaign, a key pillar of which was to reduce the US's vast trade deficit with the rest of the world. He spoke several times about protecting American businesses by imposing tariffs on imports. There was no ambiguity. He was clear that he would do this. On becoming president, he followed up on his words pretty quickly. A year into his presidency, Trump rolled out a number of import tariff hikes. First, in Jan 2018, he hiked tariffs on solar components and washing machine imports. In March that year, he imposed tariffs on steel and aluminium imports from most countries, including India. In June, he extended these tariffs to the European Union, Canada, and Mexico. Nobody was surprised. Even with regard to India, Trump has been consistent in his words and actions. He spent his presidency asking US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer to push for greater market access in India and for India to reduce its tariffs. Trump himself pushed hard for India to reduce import tariffs on Harley Davidson motorcycles, something that India partially complied with. In fact, in 2019, Trump even went so far as to revoke India's designation as a beneficiary developing country under its Generalized System of Preferences or GSP program. This meant that Indian exporters across several sectors could no longer enjoy duty free imports into the US. At the time, Lighthizer issued a statement saying, and I quote, India's termination from GSP follows its failure to provide the United States with assurances that it will provide equitable and reasonable access to its markets in numerous sectors. I close quotes. Again, this was a consistent stand, though an undesirable one from India's point of view. With Trump again railing against countries that impose high import duties, even calling India a very big abuser of tariffs as recently as September 2024 during his pre-election rallies, and reports emerging that he might appoint Lighthizer as the trade representative again, it's no surprise why trade experts in India are sure of what to expect from Trump 2.0. There's no ambiguity. They know he's transactional and that he will raise duties on China and probably on India, so India has to prepare. India under PM Modi, on the contrary, has followed a much more unpredictable trade policy. In 2019, India, at the very last moment, backed out of joining the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. Its main issue with the grouping was China's dominance in it and the fear that Beijing would use it to undercut Indian manufacturers. Now, leaving aside the merits or demerits of this argument, the fact remains that India would have known about this China factor right from the start of negotiations back in 2012. Yet it chose the very last minute to announce that it would not join. This came as a surprise to several of the countries that are part of the grouping, many of whom are allies and significant trade partners of India's, and all of whom were expecting India to join. India could have handled that episode better, even if its ultimate decision remained the same. Further fueling the perception that India is unpredictable were the various sudden bans the country implemented on wheat, rice, and onion exports in 2022 and 2023. These are markets where India is a key contributor to global exports. This left major trade partners such as the US, UK, and EU startled and irritated and sent the global prices of these commodities shooting upwards. Several of India's trade partners even raised questions at the World Trade Organization, asking India basic questions about when the bans would be lifted, why they were implemented in the first place, and when India planned to inform the WTO about them as is required under the agreements. Now, Donald Trump's stand on multilateral bodies like the WTO has been clear. He doesn't like them and sees no need for them. India hasn't voiced any such opinions. Its disregard for WTO rules was therefore quite surprising. Yet, India followed this up in mid 2023 with a sudden notification placing all imports of laptops, tablets, personal computers, and similar electronics under the restricted category and asked all importers of these products to register with the government. The industry was taken aback. It said that it hadn't been consulted about this process, and the move itself was criticized by government supporters and critics alike. The industry lobbied hard to either extend the deadline or do away with the rule altogether. It's only after this strong pushback that the government first extended the deadline and then diluted the notification. This time, too, several of India's trade partners had to raise questions at the WTO requesting information about the basics of the notification. No warning or explanation had been provided by India. On the one hand, we might not like Trump's policies, and on the other, we can find several justifications for PM Modi's trade diktats. Yet, the fact remains that with Trump, the trading world has a much better idea of what it's getting, even if it doesn't like it. Trade is as much about trust as it is about economics. The Modi government must reflect on the reputation it is building for India in this regard. But on that note, that's all from me. Thank you for watching.